we don't even get evaluated well if we have a bunch of warnings and a less amount of tickets.
In a courtroom, corrupt cops are finally exposed for their misconduct, revealing the true extent of their abuse of power, just like this state trooper who used to write tickets as a hobby.
What's been going on with you in writing certain warnings, and how many, and just kind of let us know.
6 to 8 months ago, I went to a roller paper style instead of the style putting it inside of the printer. I went to a roller style. When we first had those roller paper, it was kind of at the troop headquarters. We were kind of short on paper. So I was speaking to another trooper, and he advised me, man, a lot of time I don't give out paper to people for warning. I just give them paper for citations. So at that time, I took that method up as well, started doing that. And at the same time, when I took that method up, I became lazy and stuff like that, and not explaining to people that I have given them a warning.
The trooper thought he would get away with writing unlawful tickets like he used to, but he had no clue he had messed up with the wrong person. Keep watching. Detective completely owns him.
If you never asked for the registration, they didn't give it to you, what was your reason for even printing it?
I don't have a reason. I guess because when I was sitting there, I was like, well, I don't have the registration card. I click on it and give me the registration card and just get a warning out of it. But other than that, I don't really have a reason to. Because majority of the time, I asked them for the registration card, and if I didn't get it, I go back and write a warning. But I won't give them a copy and explain to them that I gave them a warning.
It turns out the deputies have quotas to fill and would unlawfully write tickets without any fear. However, today, this tyrant was about to be exposed.
So every day you would generate a warning regardless of whatever they had or didn't have.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I just about every day. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Like every stop I had, if I could stop them for speeding, I'll click if they didn't give me the registration card, I'll click. There was a lot of times I did ask. I don't have an exact number, but I call myself go back and watch some of my videos after all this came out. But some of them, a lot of them, I did ask for registration card, and they didn't provide it to me. And whenever they didn't provide it to me, I go back and I click for you display registration card. And but like I said, my mistake. I didn't explain to them that I gave them a warning for that.
The detective was taking him down and finally asking a direct question, which immediately exposed the corrupt practices inside the department.
So this became a habit of yours?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you intentionally doing this to pad your reports? To create more numbers?
I really won't know that. I think I just got reckless with it and just became a habit.
Explain that. What do you mean reckless with it?
Because I became lazy by not printing that paper off and taking the time out to explain to them, hey, ma'am, I gave you a warning for this, or I gave you a warning for that. I just give them a citation and go on by my day.
But you didn't have to provide that warning in every one of those situations, did you?
No, ma'am, and there were times I didn't.
Was there a need to even provide it, every one of those situations?
No, ma'am.
The worst part, the deputy still believes he did nothing wrong, showing just how deeply corruption is embedded in the department. This level of misconduct has gone unchecked for far too long.
What made you do it for some and not others?
I don't have a reason.
You didn't request their registration, so why would you think they would have a problem?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you think that was a problem?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
On whose part? Yours or theirs?
On my part.
Nothing. Because you had a high number of warnings as well. Is that something that you do? Provide a lot of warnings for speeding?
Yes, ma'am. I usually try to keep mine half and half on speeding on the contacts and also on warnings. But my warnings usually be failure to display registration or unsafe vehicle.
Okay.
This clown in the costume should no longer be a cop, and you will be stunned to hear what he has to say next.
Do you feel like you was falsifying information?
Yes, ma'am. After it belonged to me, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you think you violated policy?
Yes, ma'am.
You do? Which one?
The reports on inaccurate and stuff like that.
Okay. What about any citations? Did you ever falsify any citations?
No, never any of those.
And do you know if anyone else is doing anything like this?
I don't know anyone else that's doing the same thing, want to advise them or stuff like that. But I do know that, I was, that
The one thing
everything.
that I'm trying to find out is were you doing this to increase your numbers of contact, or was it that they did have this violation?
Yes, ma'am. Well, and let me explain on that right there. Every time I did it, like when I asked for it. If I asked for it and I didn't get it, I would do it. But there were some times that I didn't even ask for it.
Right.
And I went back and I got back to my car, and it was my fault again. I was back there at the car, and I don't have it back there, so I don't have the registration card, and I just click, just get the contact.
The detectives opted for a short break and returned to ask them even more hard-hitting questions, to which the corrupt cop really had no answer, but only more weak excuses.
But
Sometimes
there
I
ever
didn't.
times that you were thinking that if I don't ask, then I have a contact, but if I ask, they may provide it and have it signed, and I won't be able to get a contact off of that one.
I never had that thought because it was just a
Okay.
warning to me. We don't even get evaluated well if we have a bunch of warnings and a less amount of tickets. So I already know that. I try to always, if you go back and look at my record, I've always tried to keep my tickets kind of balanced with my warning, because a lot of times you get frowned upon if you got 140 warnings and 30 tickets.
Okay.
So I try to keep it. It won't never.
Okay.
So I try to keep it a little. Keep my stuff balanced. Just by getting that, I ain't gonna ask them for just get a contact. I already knew a warning ain't gonna really help me out too much,
Right.
because they look at that. Well, you got 140 warnings, you got 30 tickets. I'm not gonna gain anything from it anyway.
It is truly sad to see the condition of this police department, and this is the reason why cops are hated all over the country. Desperate to save himself, Deputy Cross started throwing his entire department under the bus.
Every department, every troop I work for, they always look at, you got 130 warnings, you only got 35 tickets. They ain't gonna do it. Because I always try to keep it kind of balanced.
Did you think it was a problem even before this was brought to your attention?
To be honest with you, ma'am, I really didn't. I didn't think nothing about it. But I look back at it, yeah. If I got a warning, I want somebody to tell me, hey, I gave you a warning for not signing your registration card back. And there was sometimes I did, tell them, hey, you need to sign this back. But majority of the time I didn't. And if I got that warning, I want somebody to tell me that, hey, man, sign the back of this, or you got a license plate out at the back. Make sure you put above back there.
Okay. Okay. So you're not making up
No,
grade
ma'am.
or anything like
No,
that.
ma'am.
Got it.
The guy that trained me, he averaged 2.0 average. I averaged about a 1.2, 1.3, but when he trained me to look for everything,
Okay.
just to get more contact, stuff like that. It was just, if you're out here working, you might well go, if you're out here working, so.
Deputy Cross's nervous demeanor indicated that he had made quite a mess. The interrogation didn't just expose him, but revealed deep corruption within the entire department.
This is nothing new, nothing created.
No,
You weren't
ma'am.
trying to pad your reports, trying to get more numbers. Are your numbers higher than most people?
No, ma'am, they're not. Drunks are.
Yeah.
But I think last month, even with this investigation started, I had a 1.1 average. I had 29 speeding tickets and 5 other arrests. So I had 35 arrests and only 120 warnings. So I know that won't give me a good rating. I know that. So I don't.
So what would be a good month for you?
A good month for me. I've been going through something here lately. I usually write 80 hard, and I turn around and maybe write another 150 warnings.
Okay.
So I end up that's 230 or something like that. I end up with like a 1.4. I used to run about a 1.4, 1.5 every month, and I guess it's always been that 1.0 average in my head. I was always told you gotta get 8 a day,
Right.
But
After the investigation, Deputy Cross was found guilty of tampering with evidence and writing false tickets. As a result, he was suspended for 10 days and barred from promotion for a year. Now, while this cop was exposed for corruption, this next one made the biggest mistake of his life, and the courtroom delivered his fate.
And the thin blue line really is just the line.
On January 18th, 2019, Officer Sanchez from the Newark Police Department pulled over Gregory Griffin for speeding. Little did she know this simple traffic stop would turn into something bizarre.
Turn off the car.
Why?
Turn off the car.
Why?
Sir, turn off the vehicle. Turn off the vehicle, sir. Turn it off. Turn off the car and roll down the window. Open the door. Get me that other unit. Open the window. Open the door.
What's up?
I got a 646. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Hands. Hands on the wheel. Let me see your
The officer was aggressive, and as she demanded ID from Griffin, he ended up doing something silly.
Hands on the wheel. The car's off. Be advised, the vehicle took off. Thomas in Pennsylvania. Zulu 21 Kilo uniform.
Rookie officer Giovanni Crespo directly fired at the car without taking any precautionary measures. Fortunately, none of the bullets hit Griffin, triggering a chaotic chase. Chase continued for a few miles and the officers could not control the overspeeding Griffin. Then Crespo got close to the car and did something shocking, an action that would change his life forever.
It should be under his leg.
Does anybody fires a weapon here?
No, here, not here.
Delta 91 go.
This time, one of Crespo's bullets struck Griffin in the head, killing him on the spot. To make matters worse, another bullet hit the passenger, leaving them severely injured.
599, you're chasing? Did you shoot?
No, I didn't shoot. Who shot?
Who shot?
Crespo shot. Crespo shot. No, they shot. Crespo shot, and they're gone. Who's dead? No, he just pulled off on me. Pennsylvania and Thomas is where I pulled him over. No.
Was that a motor vehicle stop or was that a foot chase?
No, motor vehicle stop. I pulled him over.
Okay, who you with?
By myself.
Okay.
Even the fellow cops could not believe what Crespo had just done. There was no need to fire your gun, and it was later revealed that the officer ended up firing 8 shots in 3 intervals.
Cars going down Pennsylvania. It was going way too fast, so
you pulled it over as a 521?
Pulled it over as a traffic stop.
Okay.
Just as a traffic stop. Just because he was going too fast.
Okay.
I got behind him on Pennsylvania and Thomas at the red light. I was waiting for the light to turn green. I thought he was going to pull over right on Pennsylvania. He kept going down Thomas, right on that little curb on Thomas. Pulled over right in front of the church. I got out, told him to turn off the car. He keeps telling me, why do I need to turn off the car? So I'm like, turn off the car. I go over 646, I got a man with a gun. The Delta unit puts up Moss and his partner. So I tell him he's got a gun, so they're like, Val, get him out. I go to open the door doesn't open, so I go in to open it from the inside, and he takes off.
Okay. Where's your car?
503, I was driving 503.
All right, let's see your car.
This led to an internal investigation, and Crespo was charged with aggravated manslaughter, aggravated assault, and official misconduct. Eventually, the case went to trial, and this is what Crespo's mother had to say to the judge before he announced his sentence.
And I got to Giovanni and made a promise to his mom that Giovanni was going to be the best that he could be. And she wanted me to raise him the right way, and I did my best.
I would just like to apologize for the event that occurred, to the victims, to my family that I put through, everybody that been going through hard times because of this. I took a chance at a job where it's life or death every day. And the thin blue line really is just the line.
Moving on, this auditor completely takes down this clown officer inside a court building.
You told me this is a court that's got nothing to do with you. Starting there, we're going to be back and you're going to be going to jail.
A courtroom often becomes the worst place for a police officer to be, as their crimes are exposed for everyone to see. Today we'll be going through these cases where corrupt and evil police officers were owned in court, starting off with this tyrant who abused his authority.
Dude, the cop comes and totally treats me like a asshole.
In February of 2020, a First Amendment auditor, Derek, was peacefully sitting and observing the court proceedings in a Williams County courtroom when a court deputy came over and removed him.
What's going on?
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
So, what's your business here today?
Oh, I'm going to look at court.
Just look at court?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, sitting in there.
Okay, well.
What are you sitting there for?
What am I sitting in there for?
That's why I'm asking.
You told me
This
there
is
was no court today.
this is a court that's got nothing to do with you.
Deputy Royce Crone began intimidating him without cause, treating him as if he had broken the law simply for sitting in a public courtroom.
So you're just wandering around sitting in a courtroom where you don't know anything that's going on?
Yeah, why can't you?
Huh?
What amendment is that? The Fourth Amendment? If
I
I'm
don't
not
know if
mistaken?
I'm not going to quote amendments.
So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to sit and watch.
And you're going to be civil. Because if you're not,
Was I in there not being civil?
I'm just telling you what's
I'm
going to
telling
happen.
you.
No, I'm telling you what's going to happen.
I'm telling you what's going to happen.
No,
I'm in there.
I'm telling you what's going to happen.
Hey,
You're going to go in there, if you're going to go in there, you're going to be quiet. Go down here. Go down here.
Let's walk around this corner. Around the corner.
I had no problem with you being in there, but if you're starting there, we're going to be back and you're going to be going to jail.
Didn't I
Do you understand?
Didn't I ask
No,
you
do you understand what I
downstairs?
said? Do you understand what I said?
I asked
Do
you.
you understand what I
Didn't
said?
I asked you if there was court today and you told me no.
This is
I
a
asked you
civil
no.
trial.
It doesn't matter what it is. I can
doesn't
go in
matter.
there. That's
It's
why
none of
there's
your
benches.
business.
You can go see it.
It's none of your
public.
business.
The deputy has no shame whatsoever as he makes up laws on his own. His aggressive demeanor is only about to worsen as he realizes that the auditor is also well versed in the law.
You can go see it. It's
none of your
public.
business.
It's public,
It's
so
none
it
of
is
your
my
business.
business.
So why did you go to every office?
Why can't I?
Huh?
What's
Why?
the big deal?
Why is your
Why
problem?
can't I?
Why you
Because people don't normally do that. They don't come in here and go to everybody's places.
walk all over the place for no reason at all?
I'm not most people. I'm going in
I'm
there,
finding that out.
and I asked you if there was court today, and you told me no.
Right, there is
Because
no
I like
court.
to go in, not a lot, and go watch court.
Yes,
So
I
when is
have
court
a-
session? For what?
I want to see your
For
identification.
what law?
I want to see your identification.
What?
I'm
For
asking
what?
you as a peace officer for some ID, so I know what I'm
For
talking.
coming and seeing?
No, because
My-
you're in my
look,
building.
My name's Derek, and this is our building.
I need your information.
It's our building.
Derek, let's not. Okay, I'm gonna security here, right? We've had security concerns in the past. Okay, that's what we have. You're right. It is public. Okay, but when you're going from room to room, that's unusual. Okay.
The corrupt officers once again try to use the classic officer safety excuse to deny someone exercising their constitutional right. Shockingly, the deputy had even lied earlier, claiming that court was not in session.
We're investigating a suspicious act in a government building. Okay, so if you ask for identification, you do have to provide it. Okay.
Okay, and why? I don't understand. Like I go in there and you pull me out when I'm
Because
legally
we're
okay to go in
we're
there.
checking to see what's going on. We're investigating.
I'm legally fine to go in there
Yeah,
and
but
watch
we want
court.
to make sure
You
that
pull me out?
we're
Really?
just seeing what your intentions are and what's going on.
For a legally okay act. I don't. They're not. No, it's not suspicious.
It is to me.
Me and you don't have the same options of what's suspicious. What's suspicious to me is you pull me out of court when I'm in there
What's
watching,
suspicious to me?
not being loud. Sir, I let you talk. No, you're not going to shush me. I let you talk. I'm in there watching court and you have me come out here so they can run my ID. I'm in court and I'm sitting and being civil, not making any noise. And I asked you downstairs, was there court today? You told me no. And then you're like, well, it's none of your business. It's public. So it is my business. I can go in there and I can watch.
Derek wasn't going to be an easy target for sure. He continued to grill the deputies who had violated his rights by removing him from a court without the judge ordering them to.
We have security concerns in here. People just don't walk around.
I'm not most people.
I'm talking now. Remember, it's my turn. Most people don't walk around and go to every office and checking out everything. That is not a normal thing to be done. That is suspicious to me. That's why these gentlemen are here. All right? This is a civil trial. You have no reason really to be in there. There's no reason to be in
be in
there.
any courtroom.
Okay?
Watching
You're
what's going
giving
on.
me an attitude whenever I ask you something. You might start something in there. I've got a full place full of
And I'm
people.
sitting there being civil and quiet, so that your security clearance goes right out the window. I don't understand what your problem is.
You're in my building.
This
For
is
no
our
reason.
building. This is a public building,
You're in my
not
building.
your building.
It's my building.
Public, it's
For
not your
security.
building. It is not your building. So quit saying it's my building.
You're in my building.
It's not your building.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I'm security here. It's my building.
It's not your building.
I'm responsible for this building.
Okay, and when I came
checking
in-
on anybody that's suspicious.
And I'm not suspicious. You are suspicious. Treat me like a criminal when I'm not.
The situation was getting heated, and the poor auditor had every right to be frustrated, as he had been done in by these tyrants who didn't know the law.
Let's go downstairs.
Let's go public
Let's
right
go
now.
downstairs.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's go.
10-4, thank you.
Come on, downstairs.
For what?
Huh? Sworn on instructing this court.
Well,
This is a county building.
Okay, and it's public. We know
If
that.
you're not here for court and they don't want you here, they can do that.
If you're trespassing, they can do that. I'm not. Or I'm committing a crime. I'm not committing a crime. I'd like to go to court and
it's
watch.
but our building, their building, whatever. If they don't want you here, they can be like, time to go.
For if you commit, it's like trespassing. If I commit,
You don't have to commit a crime. You don't have to.
Okay.
Okay? Does that make sense?
Still a county building.
So if they want you gone, then you have to leave.
The problem is I didn't do anything.
Right.
I gave you my ID and I was nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's more than rude, and you guys are very nice. And I just want to go in there. I want to sit and not like I was. Was I doing anything wrong? I was just sitting in there
Right.
watching. That I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay to do.
Right.
The officers disrespected him and were straight up lying to his face. Now, this happens when unchecked authority goes to their head. They think they can say anything and get away with it.
But you're at the point where, like I said, he's the head of this building, so what he says, you kind of got to do it. Okay?
So let's get your boss then. Let's get your boss then.
Let's go downstairs.
Is your boss? We're gonna go talk to your
Let's
boss.
go downstairs.
We'll go downstairs and figure it
Yep.
out there, okay?
Take the stairs for us.
My boss, my sergeant, is not here today. Therefore, I am in charge right now.
All right.
Okay?
So I was up there not doing anything wrong. As you know, I don't have that. If you're like, hey, you need I don't need help. They ran my stuff, nothing came back. It tells you that I'm not a criminal. I've never been to court for stuff other than watching stuff in Minot. That's why when I ask, hey, is there any court going on? You're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, let me see the building. I'm from Minot. I'm not from Williston, so let me see the building. That's what I was doing.
The deputies were now adamant about kicking him out of the building. It is bizarre how these cops still have no clue about public and private buildings and how they behave.
So if I got loud, I apologize. But we know that I can go in that courtroom, I can sit there and watch what's going on. It's public record. It's not
My concern
secretive.
is that you've gone to every
That's fine, because I'm asking
every
questions.
hallway, every office, places where I couldn't see you, and you were there
Yeah,
for a while.
and I'm
I
asking
don't know what's
questions.
going on.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right?
You're absolutely
I'm not
okay.
asking questions. You're saying that you have no business here, you just want to sit.
Why can't I sit in the court? I'm just watching. That's all I'm doing.
When I first approached you and asked you about this, you copped an attitude with me.
No, I
Yes, you
I
did.
kind of looked at you and I didn't copy
No,
it.
you copped
And I
an attitude.
apologize.
All right?
And I went up there and I was sitting and I was like, okay, well,
I'm going to
it's
give you an
done.
option, all right? You go up there, you can sit.
Okay.
I'm going to be up, it's going to be on camera, all right? I'll be watching. If I get any hint, any slight hint that there's going to be a problem, you will be out of here. You understand?
Yeah.
All right.
Although he allowed him back into the courtroom to watch the proceedings, his rude tone needed to be addressed. However, getting held accountable for anything just sets this tyrant off.
Are you not used to talking to people?
Oh, I'm used to talking to people.
I'm not.
I've been here for over 20 years, man. I know about talking to
Did I
people.
cuss at you?
Huh?
Did I cuss
Did
at
I
you?
cuss at you?
You just said the F word.
Or you want to start, the way I talk, then you can just leave. If you're going to have a problem with the way I talk, then you can just leave.
Am I being unreasonable here?
Gentlemen, let him out of here.
Am I being unreasonable?
Okay. Yeah, like we said, you got your ID? Brett, you got his ID?
Yeah, back home.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to have to escort you out, but you got to go, man. Okay?
We'll get your lieutenant, or where can I go?
My lieutenant?
Chief, whoever it is. I did nothing wrong.
Okay.
I was in here just looking around, which is
Yeah,
public
like-
property. I can do.
Well, this is my sergeant. You want to talk to him? You can talk to
I'm
him.
the supervisor on the day.
Okay, and I never got an attitude with him. You've seen the way he's acting with me. I was not rude.
Shockingly, and Instead of upholding the law, the officers also followed Deputy Crone's lead and asked the auditor to leave the building.
I can go up there and watch court, and I can sit there and be quiet, and that's what I was doing.
But as head of security for the building here, if he thinks the actions are suspicious, he wants to leave. Listen to me.
Go ahead.
If he thinks the actions are suspicious, he wants to leave, and you don't have a legitimate purpose other than to watch, I'm going to ask you to leave. That being said, if you do wish to file a complaint, there are options for that. It would be
where's the suspicion? Can you show me what is suspicious on a piece of paper?
I've already explained to you why it's suspicious. Okay. You come into a government building and you walk through
public
still
property.
a government building.
But it's still public property.
It's still a government building. Okay. You go through security checkpoint and get in everything. Okay. And you start going through offices where we have attorneys, important paperwork, lawyers, everything like that here in this building.
It is concerning to see how much authority Crone seems to think that he has. He has never been held accountable, and it's time that someone takes action and files a complaint.
Let's go to public property, right on the sidewalk, because I want to talk to you guys more.
Okay.
What is his fucking problem? And now I'm going to use my freedom of speech here, because come on, guys.
Okay.
We know that I can go in there and look. I'm from Minot. I'm not from Williston, so there's nothing, suspicious about me walking through. I even asked the lady, what's the difference between municipal and district? And I asked him, hey, is there any court today? In her office, and he told me no.
Yeah.
If he said, yeah, there's court on the 3rd floor, okay, then I'm going to go to court on the 3rd floor and sit there and watch like I was doing.
I mean, there's no city court today. Maybe that's kind of the side of that. But either way, I understand. Yes, you can do court. But I just want you to see my point when I say this is suspicious activity, okay? It's unusual. We don't have that usually.
Of course you don't.
Yep, so that's why we're checking on it.
Yes, of course.
Derek had been respectful throughout the altercation, but seeing how things turned out for him, he had every reason to hurl profanities. It is really tough to handle a tyrant like Crone when they violate your right.
You see, he just said, come on, guys, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right.
So now I'm going to go get my camera and I'm going to sit here on public property, which we know I can do, and record in there. Because this is public property. So if he gets an attitude with it, let's be real here.
Right.
It is public property.
Yeah, this is public.
This is public property.
Right.
I was doing that, and this is my problem, right, guys? You ran my ID. I've never done anything wrong. I've never stolen, never done nothing. And when he treats me like I don't want to use the cuss words. Excuse me, a criminal. Come on, what is that? And I understand. Hey, I understand. It's also suspicious for somebody to walk around on a public street and record your house. But there's nothing against the law to do that.
Now, it is a shame that this auditor seems to know more about the law than someone who has been in the job for over 20 years. Although the officers seem to agree with him on most things, they did not dare say a word against their senior.
If you're not I can't go into your yard and record into your window when you're naked. We know the law, the camera law.
Right.
Yeah.
But
now that being said, if your actions do arrest or annoy, that can be disorderly conduct.
Yeah.
There are.
But it's all disorderly. Yeah. And if you're just sitting there,
I'm gonna move to this point for you, okay, my man? Because like I understand where you're coming from. I really do.
I almost want to cry here. I was at Walmart in Minot, right? They were like, give me your ID. I said, no, or not my ID, but let me see your receipt. I said, no, I paid for my stuff. They're like, no, you didn't, you stole. Well, we're going to call the police. Okay. Like you said, you want my ID, I have no problem giving it to you. I don't know if it's going to open up some can of worms where I can't go on a flight. I don't know. I've only heard, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm getting at.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, the cop's going to come. He's not going to give me a problem. Dude, the cop comes and totally treats me like a asshole. Like, oh, they know you stole. And for me, it's like, oh, you know, and I know you guys are just doing your job, but it doesn't help. And I'm a dude that's never broke a law.
I can't speak for Minot PD. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean.
Derek continued his painful rant, and he was rightfully pissed off at the deputy's behavior. It's reckless officers like this who burden their cities with costly lawsuits.
Right.
To be treated like him, and I'm not going to go, oh, well, let me go and file a claim. What's that going to do? At the end of the day, though, whatever. That's my view on it now. Yeah. And when you say, and I hate when people go, oh, I know how you feel. You do not know how I feel. You do not know how I feel. I don't know how you feel. You deal with criminals all day. You deal with some innocent people. So it's like I don't want to go off on tangents, but you know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like, well, I'm not giving you. I wasn't like that. If I was like that, I could have been like, I couldn't see you guys going, okay, well, we're gonna do this. I mean, you know, I don't know. Should I go talk to a lawyer right now and be like, hey, I was in the court down there. They told me there's no court, and then they had me escorted out for no reason. You know, I'll sue him. I don't care.
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can. It's.
You want to file a complaint?
We're supposed to pretend. Why is it that I've had 2 interactions with police in Minot, or not Minot, but North Dakota, and it seems like the protect and the serve thing goes right out the window. You're not supposed to protect and serve one person. I thought you're supposed to protect and serve two.
It is great to see an auditor taking a stand for himself against these corrupt officials. Once again, the officer tries to lie about the encounter, but Derek immediately shuts him down and keeps delivering his fiery speech.
All right, like I said, I'm just gonna get my camera and set it up here and try to get a camera of him. And
Just don't one thing.
No, and I didn't talk to him.
No,
like,
and listen to me. If confrontation happens, just call the police department.
Yeah.
Don't get confrontational.
No, I didn't, and that's why I walked. I walked away.
And I know you didn't. I'm just telling. I just don't want you to.
I know.
Because
what? Yeah, and like I said, I know I said you were going to do a job. And I understand you say, oh well, it's suspicious to this. Okay, Am I suspicious for people to talk to themselves? People that talk to themselves think it's just fine.
Yep.
I understand you're just doing your job.
Yep. We're just like I said. We don't know what you were doing
checking on you.
Yeah.
And now we know.
Yep. And hey, for him to go, oh well, we want you, dude. He's not going to sit and treat me like I don't want to cuss, but I know it's my right to do so.
Yeah.
He's not going to treat me like a f***ing asshole and expect me just to sit there and take it from him. I'm an adult. He is not my dad. I'm not his kid. If I'm his kid, he can talk to me like that.
Right.
He is not going to treat me like that, and it's not fine. It's not okay. He was out of line. I was not out of line. I have a hard time with if somebody's yelling at me with being quiet, and that's why I couldn't.
Yeah, we can tell you're frustrated right now. We totally
I didn't do
understand.
anything. I just went in there to watch the court, which I can do by law.
Shortly after, the auditor left the courthouse, but only to file a lawsuit against the officers and Deputy Crone. He has since hired a lawyer, and the lawsuit is underway. Well, this deputy made a joke out of himself, but this next cop was rightfully punished and sentenced in court.
As sentence for count 1, the court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270.
Police officer Derek Chauvin was arrested and charged with the murder of George Floyd, an incident that sparked worldwide protests and riots. During the trial, another officer who had previously pulled over Floyd was called to testify.
You were the officer who approached the passenger side of the vehicle. You approached George Floyd on May 6th of 2019, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
And you had your gun drawn when you approached Mr. Floyd, isn't that right?
Yes, I pulled it, yes.
And when you approached Mr. Floyd, he said, "Don't shoot me, man, I don't want to get shot," right?
Something like that, yes.
You told him to undo his seatbelt, correct?
That's correct, yes, ma'am.
And he did that, right?
Yes, he did.
And then you said, "Put your hands where I can see them," correct?
Yes.
And then he put his hands in the air?
Yes.
And then you told him to put his hands on the dash, is that right?
That's correct.
And that was when you grabbed his hand and forcibly put it on the dashboard of the vehicle, correct?
Fallen, yes.
And you had your gun drawn the whole time you were giving commands, right?
Once I started ordering him and he refused to show me his hands, yes, it escalated where I pulled my gun, yes, ma'am.
And he was awake, correct?
What's that, ma'am?
Mr. Floyd was awake. Was he awake during this incident?
Yes.
While you were interacting with Mr. Floyd, he didn't collapse on the ground, correct?
Wait a minute, what was the question? Can you speak up a little louder, ma'am?
While you were interacting with Mr. Floyd, he didn't collapse on the ground, correct?
No, he did not.
Well, the answer is stricken. The objection is sustained.
You were asking questions about what the other officers were doing, correct?
That's correct.
Your attention was focused on Mr. Floyd, correct?
Yes, it was.
And Mr. Floyd didn't drop dead while you were interacting with him, correct?
No.
The officer did not have much to say. Finally, after a long trial, the judge was ready to announce Chauvin's sentence. But first, he had a message for everyone in the courtroom.
I've read all the impact statements that were submitted earlier and listened carefully to all the input here today. And it is truly appreciated that you took the time to stay with this case and to provide me with input. I have reviewed the pre-sentence investigation and carefully considered all the facts of the case and the law, but my comments are actually going to be very brief because most of it's going to be in writing. I have a 22-page memorandum that is going to be attached to the sentencing order. And why am I doing it in writing? To emphasize the fact that determining the appropriate sentence in any case, and in this case, is a legal analysis. It's applying the rule of law to the facts of an individual and specific case. And that is why, as opposed to trying to being profound here on the record, I prefer that you read the legal analysis that explains how I determined the sentence in this case.
The judge assured everyone that the sentence is not based on any pressure or opinion from the public and was strictly according to the law.
It has been painful throughout Hennepin County, throughout the state of Minnesota, and even the country. But most importantly, we need to recognize the pain of the Floyd family. I'm not going to attempt to be profound or clever because it's not the appropriate time. I'm not basing my sentence also on public opinion. I am not basing it on any attempt to send any messages. A trial court judge, the job of a trial court judge is to apply the law to specific facts and to deal with individual cases.
Finally, the judge laid the sentence, which ensured that the tyrant officer would never be able to see a day out of prison.
Mr. Chauvin, as to count 1, based on the verdict of the jury finding you guilty of unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony under Minnesota Statute 609.19 subdivision 2 paren 1, it is the judgment of the court that you now stand convicted of that offense. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute section 609.04, counts 2 and 3 will remain unadjudicated as they are lesser offenses of count 1. As sentenced for count 1, the court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270. That is a 10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months. This is based on your abuse of a position of trust and authority, and also the particular cruelty shown to George Floyd. You are granted credit for 199 days already served. Pay the mandatory surcharge of $78 to be paid from prison wages. You're prohibited from possessing firearms, ammunition, or explosives for the remainder of your life. Provide a DNA sample as required by law. Register as a predatory offender as required by law. And then you will receive a copy of the order and also the attached memorandum explaining the court's analysis.
If this needs to be said, we just ask that it be executed forthwith.
Defendant is remanded to the custody of the sheriff to be transported back to the DOC or whichever custody is currently holding him. Anything for the defense? No, Your Honor. All right. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Well, if that was shocking, this next police officer did something which deserved nothing less than a life sentence.
Defendant is guilty of the crime of forcible and punishment is set at 16 years.
Cops often make serious mistakes, but they must be held accountable. Today we will cover the story of a heinous officer who made the biggest mistake imaginable and did the unthinkable. Fortunately, he was held accountable, but make sure to watch how his case progressed. On June 18th, 2014, Officer Daniel Holtzclaw was heading home after his shift with his CAD and GPS turned off. That is when he spotted 57-year-old Janie Liggins and decided to pull her over. What he did next was horrific, as he forced her to perform oral sex on him after stripping. The brave woman went over to the police department the next day, and as the corrupt officer arrived for his shift, he was welcomed by a couple of detectives.
Okay, tell me about that stop.
I was going westbound on Northeast 50th, probably a block just east of Lincoln. I see a red Grand Prix or Grand Am in my right lane, in the outside lane. I'm in the inside lane. The car swerves, and so at the time I'm thinking, okay, it's probably a drunk person, or maybe got excited because they saw a cop. And then made contact. It was a black female. Asked for license insurance. Stated that she didn't have insurance. Gave me an ID.
Do you make traffic stops normally after work?
I don't, but in that case, I saw her swerve and whatnot, so
I mean, me, I don't.
Felt.
After I get off work.
I know. I mean, people, cops say that as have a.
Detective Kim Davis was the one leading the interrogation from the front and came straight to the issue at hand.
Okay, so you got her out of the car?
Yes.
Okay. And put her in the back of your car?
Yes.
Okay. Any problems there?
No, she was cooperative. Didn't give me any problems or whatnot.
Did you run her on your MDT?
No, I didn't. All my stuff as far as that, because I didn't even call it in and say it was a traffic stop. My computer was off and everything as well.
Did you shut it off?
I just shut it off.
work?
Yeah, on the way.
When you put her in your car, did you pat search her?
When I came here, I was like, lift up your shirt. Is there anything on you? Anything as far as your waistband or anything like that? She said no. And then I put her in the vehicle and went from there. Asked her everything.
Did your hands go on her at all?
I backhanded her on as far as the side.
Where on her body? Tell me. You backhanded?
Her waist, and the back portion. I didn't touch her butt or anything, but the back portion of the waist. And then she lifted it up like right here, and there's nothing.
Did she lift it up like this?
No.
Okay. So she never, like, went, whoo, nothing,
No.
exposed her breasts or anything like that?
She asked me if I was like, no, it's okay.
She asked you.
Despite the shocking allegations being thrown at him, Officer Holtzclaw remained calm and cordial. However, he had no clue how he was about to be exposed.
So I was saying it was the hip, the side, not the butt section.
What about right here?
No.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
They can tuck a gun
That's
right here.
why I asked to lift it up.
Oh, so she just kind of showed you her belly?
Right.
Okay.
What did she say?
Well, was there anything, an accidental touch, anything?
If she thought it when I passed searched her, but it was nothing as far as I felt like I would do anything as far as sex. For my safety, I just checked to see the weapons or anything. To make clear, I didn't touch her butt, but the waist side and whatnot. If you would like me to do it for me to show you.
No, and I'm fine with it, and you have every right to do that. She's saying that you made her lift up her shirt, and when she lifted up her shirt, she exposed her breasts.
No.
Later, after a thorough investigation, it was found out that this was not the first victim of this corrupt officer. In fact, he had sexually assaulted multiple African-American women in the last year.
She said, she said she was doing this. When you said, is there anything inside your bra? And she was going, no, I don't have anything like that. Did she do that?
Yeah, she did, but I didn't look or anything like that.
Right.
And then she was like, do you want me to show you? I was like, no.
She said when she said, do you want me to show you? You said, yeah, and she went,
woo. No, I didn't.
But could she have been, woo, flashing you? And now you don't want to tell me because you're afraid you're going to get in trouble?
No, when I told her no, I said no.
Then she didn't go, yeah,
No.
you know, because sometimes drunk girls are,
Having a good time.
yeah. But I'm asking you if she flashed you anyways.
I didn't see her. I didn't see her
no
breasts.
boobies?
I didn't see her breasts.
Okay. What about pants?
Nothing in her pants as far as I concerned. She was wearing tight jeans. So
She said she pulled them down.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see her pull them down?
I didn't see her pulling down pants.
You did not see her?
No, I did not see her breasts.
So she's saying you shined your light on her.
I did not see her breasts.
Where do you keep your flashlight?
The left side right here. Right.
Thankfully, Janie Liggins came forward and exposed the predator in uniform. Shortly after, Detective Gregory collected a buckle swab for Holtzclaw's DNA, evidence that would later be crucial.
Did we buckle swab anybody in the academy?
I don't.
As a demonstration?
No, I never had this done, so.
Stay up. There we go. And you get a free teeth cleaning with your first time.
You won't go none though.
All right, and then we're gonna have one more round.
I turned off my phone.
Okay, we pulled up a lot of video around that area after these allegations.
Okay.
Okay. She also had a SANE exam, which you know what that consists of.
Right.
There's a reason why we wanted your buckles.
Okay.
So if we go off the video and watch that,
right,
you're still going to stick with your story.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall putting your penis in her mouth?
I don't.
Would you recall that if you did it?
If I did it, yeah.
Although Holtzclaw's body cam and GPS were turned off, the detectives had found some CCTV footage of the incident. Nothing could necessarily be seen on that, but it did prove that the officer's vehicle was stopped there for 25 minutes.
We knew you were on that stop.
Right.
We knew you were there. Mm-hmm. And we can watch a whole lot of actions being performed while you were there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that's why she was trying to give you every out on the whole booby thing. But any reason why your would be out?
No.
We didn't do it, we didn't do it, we didn't do it. And then the DNA comes back and says, he did it. Then we have a huge problem.
Right.
Okay. On the video, are we going to see her boobies?
Shouldn't see her.
Okay. Are we going to see her pull her pants down?
I didn't see her pull her pants.
Okay. Are we gonna see your penis?
Nope.
Are we gonna see your penis go in her mouth?
No.
Are we gonna get any DNA to that?
No.
The detectives also discovered that 43-year-old Terry Morris had complained about Officer Holtzclaw a month ago, that he had pulled her over for a traffic stop and then later raped.
Probably not necessarily going to remember the name, but her name is Terry Morris. Okay, black female. Supposedly you promised her a ride to the city rescue mission. This ring a bell?
No.
She thought you ran her for warrants. Was it clicking? Drove her around.
No. Name doesn't. I don't recall a name like that.
Okay, but she's claiming the same thing. The exact same thing. And here again, for whatever reason, things are pointing at you again. Traffic stopped, not logged in, all that stuff.
The other girl that he's talking about is kind of making the same allegations, and that's weird.
Yeah, that
doesn't look good.
That's
it doesn't
weird.
look. Yeah, it
That's
doesn't look
weird.
good. So, no, I don't.
Officer Holtzclaw was showing no signs of concern on his face, but it was clear that something was deeply wrong. The fact that so many underprivileged black women came forward with the same complaint was no coincidence.
Are you circumcised?
I'm circumcised.
Sorry, just asking. Do you have pubic hair?
Yes.
Well, I mean, some people manscape, as you call it.
Right.
Do you groom?
I groom.
Okay.
Yes.
So do I.
You got any identifying marks around your...
I don't.
Just a plain old penis, huh?
Plain old penis.
Plain old 14-incher.
I don't know what to say about that, but...
See, you should have. You just had your opportunity. I just don't know what to think. Would you take a polygraph?
Yeah, if you want me to take a polygraph.
I mean, I'm trying to think of a solution. Do you know how slow DNA is?
I don't. I do not.
Slow.
You went home? Was anybody home?
My girlfriend was home.
Do you live with her?
Huh? No, she doesn't. She just stayed.
Did you get laid?
Messed around, yeah.
What's messed around?
I guess.
We were all adults.
We almost had, and she was tired.
What'd you do?
So my, and then maybe went a little bit in, and then she pushed me off and said, "No, we don't want it. I'm tired." I was like, "Okay."
That's kind of mean to let it get that far and then stop.
So that's when you got home?
That's when I got home.
After asking a few questions about Holtzclaw's personal life and marriage, she shifted back to the case, this time with some more direct questions.
And she's sitting right here. If she goes like this, well, she's going to be looking right at your penis.
Okay. But it was just talking.
Let me ask you this. Did you ever get a hard on while you were talking to her? Because she could have...
I don't think
these
I got...
pants don't fit the greatest,
Right.
and if you get a hard on, I'm going to be able to tell you got a hard on.
Right, and I'm pretty positive I didn't get a hard on.
Didn't get a hard on when you... Did your pants come unzipped, unbuttoned, anything while you were standing right there?
No.
CSI is processing your car right now.
Right.
And when we stepped out, they found some pubic hairs right in here. Could they be yours?
No, that's not... I didn't do anything right there.
Did she?
No.
But do you think that could be?
No, it's not. No. Nothing of mine.
Your pubes couldn't be
No.
right there?
No.
Holtzclaw targeted African-American women with outstanding warrants, running background checks before stopping them. By the end of the week, his number of victims would rise to 8 as those poor women came forward.
You sure she just didn't flash you?
I can't. She did not. I want to say I can't recall, but I'm pretty positive she didn't flash.
I see a pair of titties.
She went like this, but nothing as far as I'm going like crazy looking.
Lifting the shirt.
No.
How far did she lift it?
When she lifted it up first, when I patted her down, she was like right here to like stomach line.
Did you see her belly?
maybe some fat rolled or something. I don't know, but nothing.
Right,
like
but I mean, could you see skin?
Yeah, I saw skin. Yeah.
You like older women?
I don't.
How's your
She's 25.
Okay.
What's the oldest lady you've slept with?
Maybe 29.
You ever slept with a black woman?
I have. In high school, I have.
Okay.
Why would she make? Because when a woman says something like this, and they go through a sane exam, and they get, you didn't give her a ticket, so she's not getting out of a ticket. You didn't arrest her, because we get those when they go to jail. I've been have to work those stupid things because they think they're going to get out of jail.
One of the most devastating claims was made by a 17-year-old victim who claimed that the officer had raped her on her mother's porch.
Anyway, those pubes are going to be yours.
No, we're not. Please. Go.
I know. We're going to test it. It just takes. Anyway, your skin cells are going to be anywhere on her mouth.
No.
Skin cells from your fingers.
No.
Did you touch her body anywhere other than with the back of your hand, pat searching her?
Just pat searched her, and that was about it. Didn't touch her face or anything.
Because if the tests come back, you ain't coming back in here.
Because here we have a woman that says about, basically being assaulted.
Right.
Okay? And we're calling it by force and all that. Big difference between that and a hookup.
Right. Nothing else.
But when she was standing, did she try to pull her pants down?
No.
Did she do, you said she kind of did like this. Did she ever do anything down here?
No.
You said you take the lie detector test.
Right.
Do you have any extra job? Is there a time when you can't take a lie detector test?
No.
You're saying about a 15-minute traffic stop. How long do you usually take on a traffic stop, just on average?
Maybe 20 minutes.
Testing later confirmed that her DNA was found on Holtzclaw's pants. Currently, the detectives remain focused on this single traffic stop. They continued asking more questions about it, but the officer never seemed to be in any doubt, as he was never under any kind of stress.
Now,
that's a long time.
Now, 20 minutes, and I'll give it to you. Just even doing the gang stuff and all that. Okay. 20 minutes. Now, that's going to be some 800 time, right?
800. Searching the car in detail, all of that.
Okay, so doing all of that, all the running, waiting in line, and even on a search. Now, the question I have is, we got a lapse of time here, so I'm kind of get a better handle on where the time went. You're talking about 15 minutes, no 800, no running on the computer, you shut it down. And you said it was just a quick little search of the car. Where's the rest of that time?
Just talking to her.
About what?
Just see where you go and trying to get her to confess. Are you drunk or not? Like, are you been drinking? Because I could smell it when I was in the car, but I can't really get it.
What if she just said, yes, I'm drunk?
There are a lot of drunk questions, like how much
have you been drinking? Mainly it's just have you been drinking, trying to get her confessed, see anything inside that juice, just trying to just talk to her. But
okay, right there, those questions maybe took 40 seconds. 15 minutes?
And you said 5 at the car. So then we got 10 of a lot of questions.
Right.
Okay. I mean, you tell me I wasn't there. I mean, obviously I don't have any audio.
And that's what I'm saying. Roughly on a traffic stop take about 20 minutes.
The detectives still couldn't wrap their heads around the fact that Holtzclaw did not issue a ticket to the woman, and the stop still took 25 minutes.
How could you take 15 minutes on that?
Just talking. I don't know, must have been talking. So that's it.
I can't see her wanting to talk if she's crying and asking if you're going to shoot her and all this. I don't see her being real forthcoming with conversation.
Whether my questions or whatnot, that's it.
I mean, you don't seem. I mean, I don't know how you were out there, but just kind of talking with you. I mean, you seem real laid back and everything like that. I've never got the impression of just kind of an angry type cop. We know some.
So you don't think 15 minutes was too long on that traffic stop?
No,
And nothing went on during that 15 minutes?
Nothing.
Suddenly, Detective Davis called Holtzclaw's wife to confirm his earlier statement. Shockingly, he was caught lying immediately.
I just talked to Carrie.
Okay.
She said she was asleep when you got home and you did not try to have sex, and you did not have sex.
They try to have sex.
She said you didn't. And I asked her, could you have been asleep? And you had kind of, no. And she said no. You did not try to have sex.
Because I don't want to involve her. I tried to have sex with her and she was asleep. Carrie goes to sleep pretty early, about 9, 10 at the late.
Okay, but she would know if you tried. I'm a woman.
I know.
And my husband comes home in the middle of the night and I'm like, are you kidding me? I've been asleep. You said you twirled around her vagina.
I did.
And you put it in a little bit and then she said, I'm tired. No.
I did.
She would remember that to tell me.
Shoot. Maybe.
She said you did not try to have sex.
That was a disastrous start for Holtzclaw, as his claims were quickly proven false. With this, the detectives had every right to launch a full investigation, as things were unraveling for him.
I don't know what to say, because it just looks like I just caught you in a lie, and now I don't know what to believe.
I'm telling you.
I don't know what to believe, because you tell me this, I go to verify it, she tells me the opposite, and now I'm wondering what you're telling the truth about.
Maybe because she doesn't know what the heck's going on.
No, she doesn't. I didn't tell her.
And I'm glad, but detectives calling her, any other officer asking her a question like that.
I know.
I'm telling you, I tried to have sex with Carrie, my girlfriend.
She is going to remember your weenie twirling around her hoo-ha. You remember that. I'm sorry, I don't care how much of a sleeper you are. You remember because it pisses you off in the middle of the night and you go, are you serious? Don't bother me with that.
Finally, the interrogation came to an end, and the detectives also took over Holtzclaw's uniform, which was sent over for DNA testing as well.
I think you're gonna need to, unless you want to keep the shirt on. I don't know. I don't know if this shirt's gonna be big enough for you. You're a big old boy. I was gonna get a Tyvek. Well, why don't you go ahead and get dressed then?
I need to tell you what's going on. It's crazy. I said, I'm basically on my way home, and I'd like to talk to you. What's going on? It's crazy.
Officer Holtzclaw was placed on leave, and as investigations progressed with multiple women coming forward, he faced 36 charges of sexual battery, oral assault, and stalking from 8 different women.
Verdict, count 1, sexual battery. We, the jury, impaneled and sworn in the above entitled cause, do upon our oaths find as follows. Defendant is guilty of the crime of sexual battery and set punishment at 8 years. Count 2, procuring lewd exhibition. Not guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of sexual battery. Count 8, defendant is guilty of the crime of forcible oral. Punishment is set at 20 years. Count 9, first degree. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of first degree.
Despite Holtzclaw's claim that the women were seeking monetary gain and trying to frame him, the jury unanimously found him guilty.
Count 16, forcible sodomy. Defendant is guilty of the crime of forcible sodomy and punishment is set at 16 years. Count 17, forcible sodomy. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy. Count 18, procuring lewd exhibition. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition. Count 28, the first degree. Defendant is guilty of the crime of first degree and punishment is set at 30 years. Count 29, first degree. Defendant is guilty of the crime of first degree and punishment is set at 30 years. Count 30, sexual battery. Defendant is guilty of the crime of sexual battery and punishment is set at 8 years. Count 31, second degree by instrumentation. Defendant is guilty of the crime of second degree, and punishment is set at 12 years.
After listening to some last words from the judge, Holtzclaw left the courtroom in tears, still claiming that he did not do it.
Mr. Holtzclaw, this jury finds you guilty of the various counts. You will be remanded to the custody of the Oklahoma County Sheriff for formal sentencing set January 21st, 2016 at 10 o'clock a.m.
Your Honor, I'd ask to poll the jury.
All right, you have a seat.
He was eventually sentenced to 263 years in prison and will not be seeing a day outside of prison walls again. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Today we witnessed a shocking case of police corruption and an abuse of power. This may be one of the worst instances of police brutality. Positive outcome is that the officer was sentenced to life in prison. We hope this serves as a lesson to other officers that such actions are never repeated. And if you agree, please support us by liking this video. And if you enjoyed this video, watch the moments where these criminals viciously attacked these cops.
Show me your hands.